Listen, the tariffs are coming in the next couple of weeks. This is what you need to do in order to prepare, especially when it comes to your grocery bill. First of all, most people, when they hear the word tariff, they're like, I don't even know what that means. When you think about tariffs, think about it as a tax. So anytime we import something from another country, we tax that company or company and country for bringing that good or service into the United States and vice versa. When we export, we pay a tariff to the countries that we're importing our goods into or exporting from America into. So when you think about tariffs, I want you to just remember there's a little bit of an extra tax, right? So about 30 days ago, President Trump came out and he said, you know what? We're going to tax China, we're going to tax Canada, and we're going to tax Mexico. Now, everybody went crazy. The stock market had about a 13% retracement that day. And about at 12 o'clock Eastern time, he came out and said, you know what? Canada, Mexico, you guys are our trading partners, so we'll give you 30 days to figure it out. China, to hell with you, 15% across the board. And so what happened was anything coming from China, so if you were ordering something from Temu, if you were buying a new car from Neo, those things had an extra additional 15% tax on top of them. And of course, the consumer is going to have to pay that. Now, let's talk about our trading partners when it comes to the USMCA, right? That's US, Mexico, and Canada. So 30 days later, the taxes went in place. The tariffs went in place. Now, how does that affect you? If you eat at Chipotle, more than likely you eat on that guacamole, right? I love the guacamole. Now, there's an extra cost that comes with using the avocados from where? Mexico. And so now, when you think about what you normally would pay for your burrito or bowl or whatever you have, right, you're going to have an additional cost. Now, Chipotle is good. They came out and they say, you know what, we're going to figure out a way not to pass this cost on to the consumer. Now, that's going to be short-lived because at some point they're going to have to. Now, let's think about Canada. The biggest export we get from Canada is lumber. All right. So now start thinking about your housing, right? So if you're building a new house, what do you need? Wood, and most of that wood comes from Canada. So when we start thinking about the prices of houses, they're already out of control, right? But they're going to have an additional cost to them. Why? Because the tariffs are going to add that new expense to it. So how do we get around this? Well, you really can't, right? Because we're under an administration right now that ran on increasing tariffs. Now, people aren't necessarily happy about it, but we're going to see more pain before we see it get better. So what does that mean for your grocery bill? That means things like eggs. That means things like grapes and strawberries, things that we import into our country. By the way, we import about 93% of all the food we eat. So around April 2nd, we're going to see an increase across the board when it comes to your grocery bill. So how do you get around it? I don't know, maybe start eating oatmeal or, go on some kind of liquid diet and don't eat for the next 6 months. I don't know what you do, but I can tell you this. I would suggest to you to start investing now. Now, you ask yourself, well, how the heck am I going to invest if I can't afford food? This goes back to an earlier conversation we had about budgeting. This is the prime time to figure out that budget, right? Because this is a grand opportunity for you to invest. We're going to see inflation numbers probably go up to about 6 to 9%. Right now, we're floating at about 2.4, but we're going to see it is coming. You cannot stop it, all right? It's a boulder rolling downhill. It's going to happen. So let me give you 3 stocks that I recommend that you purchase during this time frame. They aren't necessarily tariff or recession-proof stocks, but they're companies that are going to do well for the next 5 to 10 years, and this is the time to invest in them. One is Apple. Now, look at your phone. Most people carry an Apple phone. I'm an Android guy. I'm a little old school, but that's okay. I got a lot of Apple stocks, so you guys keep buying Apple, okay? I love you. Apple is a company that is not going away. They are actually going to move into the healthcare space, but that's a whole nother conversation. But I'm telling you right now, Apple is a buy. The second stock I would recommend is Uber. Think about the evolution of what we're seeing in our country, right? We're seeing AI, not just in our country, across the world. We're seeing AI take leaps and bounds every 4 to 5 months. 2 years ago, we were talking about large language models like ChatGPT, Claude AI. Now we're talking about DeepSeek, but that's not the real story. AI, when it comes to autonomous vehicles, is being tested today in California on semis. So if they can figure out how to have AI drive a semi truck, they're definitely going to be able to figure out a way for it to drive you around the city. So Uber is a definite buy when I think about stocks for the next 5 to 10 years. And then the last one I'll give you is Intel Corporation. Now, this is one of those stocks where right now, if you look at the metrics of Intel, you'll probably say to yourself, I don't necessarily agree with you, but listen to my reasoning behind me telling you to buy Intel. Intel is now moving from the CPU space to the GPU space. Now, again, going back to AI, that's going to be the biggest opportunity in our lifetime in this country, right? So when we think about what's happening with AI and the GPU chips, they marry up. Intel stock right now is trading probably around $17 to $19. That is a really good price for a company that is going to be competing and working with companies like AMD, NVIDIA, Microsoft, all of the major corporations. So if you can buy a really good company at a really low price, that's the whole game around the stock market, right? Remember, buy low, sell high. So stay tuned, like, share, subscribe, comment. Let me know what you think about what we're saying here. Think and Grow Rich, and we'll see you next time.